Hello. Good evening. Hi, guys. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. Hello, Simon the Fish Machine. He says, I'm ready. Out and about with Dave and Daisy. Time to get sitter sized. I love it. Drum roll from System Deck. I love it. Alex, hello. Don't want to forget the live. Auntie Ann is in the house. Come on, Marty. Make up your mind, bud. He's over here meowing, pacing back and forth, begging for attention. Oy, oy, oy. Hello, Neil S. He says, hello, everyone. Heartland HQ with Think and Tank. Hello. Hello, David Glunt says, hello, all. Treasure Hunter Neil. Hello. Belinda Edwards. Hi, everyone. James Hall. Hi. Lonely Hitchhiker Camp. Hello. Good evening. Old Man King Homestead. Hello. Roy. Hi. I know, cat butt right in your face. That's what you want first thing on your live, right? He has zero chill. He's just like, I don't care. It is what it is. Pettit Jean River Homestead. Hello. Greg is in the house. Hello. Mike Birch. Hello. Trey Smith. Hey. What's going on? What's up, Jen? What's going on? Dan Wiles. Hello. I'm a cat. This is my butt. Exactly, James. That's his program. Let's see. Randy Jameson. Hello. The Vineyard Farmhouse. Hello, Brian. Hey, crew, says Dano P. Cola. What's going on, guys? What's going on? Man, it's been a busy week. I may say that every week, but I swear, I think every week is going to be slower. I thought this week was going to be slower. It's not. I don't know. It's just a lot. The diva. What's up, Ridge Life? What's up, Tim? He's he's still on the phone in there. He actually just got out of yet another interview. They're interviewing some new positions. They've had that mass exodus from California has not slowed down. And so they've lost a few people at his company. And they kind of lost a few all at once, moving out of state. And so, and they're people that like do hands-on jobs that they're not like jobs that can be done remotely. So he's having to hire people. And so he's still working. Evelyn Newman, I'm wearing your earrings tonight. Look at that. Look at that. Good evening. Good evening. I love it. I love it. Have the goats done the bang bang yet? So here's what's going on with the goats right now. So Buck has settled in. He's hanging out with them. He's eating with them. He's sleeping with them. He's doing the thing. Caroline has been following him around like a love-struck teenager. Dan, my weather, her son, has been still kind of intervening. Like will still sometimes kind of like try to get Buck out of the way. And I did notice was trying to, let's say, assert his dominance a little bit over his mother. And but today she put him in his place. So she's Randy, and Anne has just been sort of kind of following Caroline's lead, but definitely hanging back. So I think it's just a matter of time if it hasn't happened already. So we'll see what happens. But again, a lot of times goats will have their intimate times in the evening when you're not standing there staring at them. So it's very possible that, the deed has been done in the evening when I haven't been looking or whatnot. But I definitely have not actually witnessed it with Buck, but I have definitely seen the signs of Caroline making herself available. Anne, not as much, but Caroline, but like I said, I think Anne would be a crap mom. I already said, I think if she kids that I'm going to have to bottle feed her babies. I think that she's going to be like, those aren't my kids. I want a DNA test. Like she's that girl. But Yeah, goats gone wild, Greg, exactly. Um, so we'll see. But um, but yeah, I think there's progress being made. Everybody's kind of settling in and figuring things out. But Tashka, she takes off on a tear after Buck sometimes when I take her out for playtime, and Buck's terrified of her. So I have to keep her distracted. But Kusi's really good about diverting her from him. So that's how, and I'm always out. Like I don't let her out with him unless I'm out there. So, but she's a hellion. She really is. She's got a strong personality. So we're working on all of that. She still hasn't figured out her name completely yet. Like she kind of has, but not completely. And she could care less about anything else I've told her to do when I'm working with her. But it's the early days still. I just feel like when I had Nash and Kusi, I feel like they focused a lot faster and got their names and the basics of sit and come and like settle a lot faster. And I feel like she's like, that's cool that you think I'm going to do those things, but I'm not going to do those things right now. She's a little more headstrong. So we're getting there. We're working on it. We're working on it. Hey Heather, what's going on? Let's see. Oh, lots of hellos back and forth again. I love it. Greg says he has some female canaries that don't take care of their babies. Oh, see, you never know. Sometimes, and those are the ones, when that happens, you don't want to breed them again. Again, I don't know if that's going to be the case, but so far she hasn't shown any interest in trying to court Buck. And he's been doing the lip thing, and he's been, you know, um, he 100% smells like he's in rut. And Caroline's definitely in heat, but she is a little bit of a diva, bless her. She's adorable though. You can't, I mean, even when she's totally doing the opposite of what you tell her to. And they're cute together, and he's really good at wrangling her. So, which is kind of cute too. So he definitely takes the older brother role, which is cute. Like they're cute together. And she's a good dog. I don't mean to say like she's just much more, she's a lot more spunk, like a lot more personality and spunk than like, not that Kusi doesn't have his own personality, but she's just very like rah, like she just did a line of like something off a mirror, and she's taken off, and she's ready for, like, she does not wear out. She does not wear out. Like just keeps going. Like, I don't know what her deal is. So who else is freezing tonight? Yes, oud de buck. That's right. It's a lovely smell. Oh, one day I had to go out there to do something, and Buck rubbed up against me right before I had to leave to go somewhere, and I was like, cool. People in town are gonna love me. I'm going to town smelling like a horny buck. But whatever. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be, I mean, depending on where you are. I know some places got snow today that were like in the 70s and 80s the last 2 days. And then we got this crazy wind that came through, and then like buckets of rain for like 10 minutes, and then the temperature just dropped. It was like 30 degrees. I mean, it was like 70 this morning, and then it was like 30 degrees, and it stayed cold and chilly all the rest of the day. So it's going to be cold. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if she is the Energizer Bunny. I don't know if like right now it's 50. It did warm up a little bit, but I know it was colder earlier because Frankie told me, because she was keeping track apparently. I guess it's only supposed to be in the 40s tonight. Like, oh no, 30. Well, it'll be 36 degrees, I guess, is the coldest. So, and then it's supposed to be 70 tomorrow. So that's not too bad. But then we're going to be in the 50s for a couple of days with some rain, and then back into the 70s over the weekend. So, which is good because there's some things that I want to be able to get done this weekend, and so having some decent weather will be a good thing. So to be able to get that stuff done. That lovely smell, I know, such a good smell, Auntie Anne. Ooh. Put the put the the crushed up blue pills in the goat feed. I know. I think part of it too is just him kind of needing to settle in a little bit. Even though those goats all know each other, they haven't been around each other in a minute. It's a different environment for him. It was just a little like, oh, what's going on? Like it took him a little while to settle in and for the goats to just sort of reacclimate to each other. But I think they're mellowed now, you know. Been really nice down here on the coast, except for the wind. Got a little red cleaning up the yard. Oh, nice. I love that. I love it. Yeah, I'm starting to see the wasps come out, though. I did hear my first cicada the other day. Was it yesterday? No, day before yesterday. I walked outside, heard my first cicada. I was like, oh, it's happening. That's the first one. Because that was our first real warm day, like warm day. And I was like, oh, they're coming. They're coming. So they're on their way. We're getting ready for storms the next 5 days. Snow in the Sierras will be measured in feet. Well, see, and this is what's funny is like in California, we go through. It's about I believe it's about an 8-year drought cycle. In California, they always talk about, oh, we're always in a drought, we're always in a drought. Well, there's political reasons why they're in a drought because of how they divert the water, but we have the mountains where there's a bunch of snow, right? And that melts down into the rivers and the lakes and all that, right? And then you have these atmospheric rivers that we get every 5 to 8 years. We get these where we just get flooded, literally flooded. The whole like big chunks of the state flood, and every year everyone forgets about it and it's front page news. And I don't know why we have such a short memory about it. It's not like it happens once 100 years. It's once every couple of years. It's like, write it down, guys, put it on your calendar. It happens. Anyway, and this is like a thing that happens, right? And then all the reservoirs are like full to the brim. Everything's overflowing. The drought is declared over for like a year, and then they're like, oh, we're back on drought watch because they've diverted all the water and they've mismanaged it, and that's a whole thing. But that's a whole nother story. But anyway, yes, there's going to be more snow, and then it'll melt, and then they'll be like, oh no, we're having more flooding. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Hello, Barbie. Sunday will be 80 here. Nice. Nice. -4 in Canada. Oh, my word. No, thank you. We had a hard freeze, and all the Bradford pear trees that were trying to bloom probably won't make it now. Oh, my. Ours actually bloomed this morning. Yesterday, it was nothing. And then today, it exploded, and one of our fruit trees budded. Everything's starting to bud and bloom. I mean, the daffodils are already going crazy. My tulips have budded or are coming up, but they haven't budded yet. Which now this not really a freeze tonight, but cold. I mean, in the 30s. I don't really consider that. I think the plants do okay until you start to get into the 20s. That's when the plants and animals you kind of start to go, ooh, that's where it gets a little touchy. In the 30s, everybody still seems to do okay. If they're acclimated, But Dana, what's up, bitty boo? What's going on? What's going on? I think waiting for Mike to show up to the live is like waiting for a Ridge Life Dozer video. It is, isn't it? You got that coming out soon. I set my notification, but I didn't look to see what day it was for when I set the notification. If y'all haven't heard the much debated, long awaited, much controversy surrounding dozer video that Tim from Ridge Life has been teasing us with for, gosh, months, easily, I would say easily 6 months at this point. Easily 6 months at this point. Tomorrow at 7. All right, there we go. Tomorrow at 7, he is premiering, supposedly. I still don't believe it exists. His dozer video. I think what's going to happen is at 7 o'clock on his Ridge Life channel, there's going to be a little animation of a dozer going across the screen, and then the credits are going to roll. That's what I think is going to happen because I don't think it exists. I don't think there's actual dozer video footage of anything. Won't it be sad though, Tim, if like this video is just like everyone's like, really, Tim? This is it? Because there's so much hype to this video. No pressure, Tim. It's better be like the best video you've ever put out. No pressure. Because everybody's gonna give you more like a year. Has it been that long? Oh, my word. No, I'm dying. I'm dying. No pressure. Glenn and Shannon, Salty Life, how you doing? How is your knee, Tim? Speaking of things that are broken and dilapidated, how's your knee? You feeling any better? I hope. I hope. I don't know what that was, and I don't know if you guys heard it, but that sounded crazy. I don't even know what it was. Carrie Ward, what's going on? I said that. It's okay. Not great, but good. Well, as long as it's, entertaining. Just tell everybody to like do a shot before they watch it, and then they'll think it's great. Just like closing time at the bar. All the girls look prettier at closing time. Just make sure everyone's had a little bit, you know, before they watch it. It'll be fine. I know. And I always hate that too, because you guys, those of you that are in here that have channels or like have heard us talk about this before, me is the same. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not good. That's no bueno. There's times where like we'll work real hard on a video and we'll think, oh, this video, like I put so much effort into it. I put this is the best editing job I've ever done. This is my best cinematography. This is the best topic. This is like the best, like this is the Oscar worthy YouTube video that I've ever made. Like this is the best video I've ever done. And like nobody watches it. Or like it just doesn't do very well. And then you do a video that you're just kind of crank out and you don't think much of it. And you're kind of just, what the heck is that? There are things happening. Now I really hear that. It sounds like angry animals. And I can't really like go investigate, but I kind of want to. Because that sounds like angry pets. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, if I hear it again. You heard it? It sounded like angry cats. And I don't know where Marty went. It could be Bunko on the front porch he has a buddy that comes and visits him. So it could be him and his buddy, but they don't fight. And that sounded like a weird, I don't know. It did sound weird. I love this bar. Tim's tractor vid premiere. Exactly. It's the squatch mating call. It could be the goats finally getting it on out back. Maybe that's what we just I don't know. Oh, that could be it. Oh, I don't know. Juan and Henry, hello. Southern Blessed Homestead, hello. Sasquatch, it might be. We are in Mississippi. They're rampant around here. Sounds like an owl. I don't think it's an owl. It sounded more cat-like to me. Although maybe my cat got an owl. I don't know. The call of the goats. Yes. Ah, I never know. Jim's premiere will be a drinking game. Every time you see a dozer, drink. Oh, then we should be perfectly sober by the end of it. Tim. I'm seriously though, I'm sorry your knees not any better. That is a bummer. I don't know. A rave in the chicken coop. Very well could be. An armadillo. Yeah, I've got a goat brothel going on in the back 40. That's what's happening. I'm telling you. No, but so you guys know, and I actually, tomorrow, Sipping and Spilling is going to talk about this a little bit, but I've got a couple building/repair projects that need attended to. And Mike has been way too busy to get to some of those things outside of him just trying to get his seeds done. Um, and he still has to, like, he kind of worked on the shop to get that ready for the electrical stuff, which he still has to do some pieces for that before the electrical company can come out and do the next piece. So, goat red light district, exactly. Hey, Wanda. Um, so, my issue I'm currently having is that if you guys have been kind of watching some of the videos, you know I've got about half a dozen of my chicken flock that has figured out how to get on the roosting racks in the coop and get out through the roof, because there's a gap about like this between the tin roof and the siding essentially, and there's, you can see that like the support beams in between, but there's like little, right, and they're just hopping up into those little windows and jumping down to the ground out into the main yard, just just going everywhere. And back when I just still had Freebird and Rico, it was no big deal because they didn't really go out front. They would really just stick by like the goat pen and the chicken coop. They didn't go into the garden and they didn't go into the porch. They did a little bit to the front porch when I had the cat food in a certain place, but all I did was move the cat food and they stopped coming because they were basically, they thought the cat food was like the bee's knees. But they left my garden bed alone. They didn't do, you know, they were fine. Well, now that they're gone, you know, these guys have figured out how to get out and they're doing their thing. Nobody ever tried to get out when Rico was sort of roaming because nobody wanted to mess with Rico. So now I've got like half my flock most of the time outside of the coop and the run protected by the electric fence. So, and most of the time they're in the back, but they've been getting into my garden bed and messing it up and tearing it up. And it's kind of a problem, as being as how I just redid that whole garden bed. So I need to take some of that siding and finish the top, or at least get some of the chicken wire, and because I know I still have some scraps of that somewhere, or I think there's a partial roll somewhere that I could cut and put up there to keep it from coming out. I don't know. I like having the ventilation up there, but I don't know. I kind of want to do like a smaller band of it um, for the ventilation. They're not in there enough to really need the ventilation though, but it'd become nice during the summer to have a little more ventilation. But that's also more ways for like wasps to get in there and make a nest. So yeah, I'm just gonna board it up. It's fine. We're just gonna board it up. I'll board it and then that'll keep them out. But then on the other side of the coop, that half that's supposed to be the feed room slash was going to the brooder. It's not going to be the brooder anymore. It's just going to be the feed room. Part of me wants to just take that whole wall out the middle and just expand the coop and make that whole thing the coop, to be honest. And kind of change the design of the inside of it a little bit. But I think that he would have a heart attack if I did that. So that probably won't happen. But I do need to remedy that top piece. And there's an open piece. So like they can, from their run, they can hop into the unfinished half of the coop and then like walk out into the yard too. So I need to close that up too. Which is supposed to be a door there eventually into that feed room or into that whatever, but it's right now it's just open and unfinished. So that's the current situation that I need to remedy. Probably, I think probably if I don't get to it this weekend, by like Saturday midday, then I think that is going to be a project for like early next week that I will be tackling solo. Because which is a little bit scary because twofold, Mike has uh, less faith in me when it comes to certain things. And I am not known as the builder in our household. I don't generally build things. I help him build things sometimes. Before Frankie got older, I was the one that would help him with stuff. But then when Frankie got older, he started teaching her and having her do it. And I was busy doing other stuff. So, it just didn't matter. Thank you, Wanda. Yes, that's right. Hit that thumbs up. Hey, our mountain home, what's going on? Oh, Scott says you should do a drinking video to the live version of the dozer video. If real dozers actually show up, this would be hilarious. That would be interesting. Get some screens. Yeah, so I have some. I don't want to put the screens up because, like I said, I don't really lock them in the coop except for at night. Um, so, and I've had a problem with, because of the direction it faces and the way the wind blows and all of that, water getting in the coop when the wind blows and it's raining, which is, I had an issue with my bedding getting all wet. So I think I'm just going to go with plugging the holes. And if I need to, I will cut a window on the opposite side, facing into the run, and put a screen window there that I could potentially put like a hinged um, door on, so that if I needed to close it tight, I could, like if it was cold or whatever. But if it was a hot day, I could open it and have ventilation. So I think I might do something like that. But anyway, what I was saying is Mike doesn't generally like, Mike's generally the one that does the building, and Frankie now, and not me. So I don't know how much faith he has in me to do little things like that, because sometimes he sort of looks at me like, "You're gonna do that? No, I'm gonna do it," or you know, or I need to be involved in that. And I'm like, "But you don't have time, and it needs done, and I'm capable." So sometimes I have to sort of like talk him into letting me like just try my hand at something, because it's like just like I can't do everything, he can't do everything, and if he's at work, you know, he can't do it. And when I have the time, when I have a gap in my craziness, I can attack something. So if you use screen, it's easy to cut. It'll give you ventilation and keep out the wasps. Yeah, yeah. If I got a small enough mesh, yeah. I think I have like some of that, not the chicken wire, but the hardwire cloth left. If I can find where Mike stashed it, I think I know where it is. That stuff's kind of a pain to work with, but I don't have, and it's not that big. I was thinking maybe Frankie and I could work on some of that stuff together, because Frankie's, maybe I could, even if I pitch it to him, like, well, Frankie can kind of oversee me. Because I always tell him, I'm like, why don't you have faith in me? I can do this stuff. Like, I'm capable. I know, start with building a birdhouse and show him. Well, I mean, I've done other things. I don't know. Like, I guess I tend to shy away from certain things because I don't know, like it's sort of his area, so I just don't do it. But anyway, I think, and that was one of the reasons why I picked up all those pallets the other day. I had this project in mind to build another stall, and he doesn't like the idea, but I think it's brilliant, because I think Frankie and I could build it in like lickety split. Like we'd have to set 4 posts in the ground, which she and I could do that super easy. And then the next day we could build the stall, and we would just need a little bit of help with doing the roof part. And he kind of made a face, like he's like, I don't like that idea. I don't like how it's going to look. I don't like how it's going to be. And we were like, okay, well, but it'll work, you know? So anyway, I don't know. I think I'm gonna try to work on him a little bit and see if I can maybe start getting him to release some of the control when it comes to certain things. Because I think that I'm more I'm able to do more in that sense than maybe he wants me to be doing. But I don't know if he's afraid that maybe like if I start doing like the stuff that's his stuff, maybe he's gonna end up having to scrub a toilet. But I mean, I know that hell would freeze over before that would happen. So I'm not worried. He shouldn't be either. So I do have I do have a house screen actually, Auntie Anne, that I was using as a brooder cover that actually ended up getting like the screen part actually not the screen part, but the frame part actually ended up getting broken. So I still have the screen part. I could make something out of that um, for the window pretty easily. That's not a bad idea. I could do that. It's not a bad idea at all. Not a bad idea at all. I could do it. You're right. Not right now, Adriana. The horse is out in the dark there, and I'm inside. But install the stapler. I'm trying to get away with installing things with staplers, and I'll tell you why. Our old coop, I was constantly having to repair it with a staple gun, like constantly. There was always, we never really fully finished it. And so I had constant holes and gaps in the chicken wire because it never got framed in at the bottom, and the middle piece would pop out and the middle part of the door. And so I was constantly making repairs with the uh, staple gun. So now I have this real aversion to using that as a solve because I know that it's not going to hold up for something like that. So I'd rather like frame it in properly with like, take a couple pieces of wood, mount it in between the pieces of wood, like make my own frame for it and like stick it in. Like I'd rather do it that way, you know what I mean, and have it in there, if that makes sense, versus just stapling it to the siding and having it stapled to the siding. you know? So I don't know. I feel like I might do something like that. So thank you, Carrie Ward. Thank you for having faith in me. So I don't think it's that. I think it's more, I mean, he is like, he's a good builder. Like he's got, and I had a couple people kind of bring it up in the last week, which is kind of what has made me think about it. A couple people had left comments about it, and which is one of the reasons why I'm even kind of addressing it and why I had been thinking more about it. I had actually been thinking about it before that, because that was one of the reasons why I started on the palette thing. But he he wants to do some, like his whole thing is, well, we have to do it right. We have to do it one time, the first time right. And I'm like, cool, yeah, I agree. But if it's going to take us 6 years to have a solve for X, but we need a solve for X now, I'm going to make something that's going to get us through until we have a solve that you're happy with in 6 years. You know what I mean? Like that's how I look at it. So sometimes I have to like, I look at it like I need a problem solve for something right now, or so that's just kind of my thing, I guess. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the staples. Not a fan of the staples. I feel like I can make it a little bit more permanent looking and make it a little more stable if I were to like glue it in, not glue, but like, the in between the wood, you know. But anyway, you know. Well, what's funny is the he is a project manager. So, and he definitely likes to manage the projects. He's very good at what he does. But he has a very different approach to things than I do when it comes to things getting done, or the way that he and I would do things if we were both to be turned loose. things would like we would probably be 180 degrees different. And between the two of us, I would not say he's OCD. I'm I'm definitely more like things have to be a certain way, they have to be done at a certain time. He is more like a whirlwind of like whatever happens happens, go with the flow, things swirling around him like a little tornado. He's chaos in that sense. That's like, yeah. So Michael have Navy flashbacks if I make him do toilets. I don't think that man has done scrubbed his toilet in 20 years, so I think he's safe. I think he'll probably safely be able to live out the rest of his days without having to scrub a toilet. I think he's gonna be okay. I don't think you guys have to send help yet. I think he'll be fine. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm not using chicken wire. I've got hardware cloth. That's yeah. I'll probably I do have some like regular screen that I might use for a small window. Like I'm talking like that. But lots of plastic zip ties. I know it. I do love me some staples and some plastic zip ties. That is what my yeah. So I did have to repair because I couldn't find the baling wire. I need to just go buy my own set of things because I can't find stuff sometimes in the shop and I get real frustrated. But I need to make my own little farm action go bag. But so I got frustrated and I was like, well, at least I know where the zip ties are. So I had to fix the goat pen with zip ties the other day because the little pen that they go in that has the top on it, they had pushed the sides out because they lean up against it and they had popped the wires off. And I had fixed it once or twice before already with baling wire, but then they popped new spots and then I couldn't find the baling wire. So I gave up and I used zip ties. That was a temporary fix, but I'm going into the big town on Friday. So if I can remember to add it to my list, I'll get baling wire and I'll fix it correctly. And I can take the zip ties off. Steve C, what's going on? Ridge Life is on the phone, guys, but he says hello to everybody. If Mike did the toilets, we would 1,000% need a video of it. Right? Ah, yes, our mountain home. I totally understand. Gotta go. It's family time. Need to disconnect. I totally understand. Have a great night with the rest. Have a great rest of your night with the family. Um, Two old people on a couch. What's up, Mark and Debbie? Woo-hoo. Tim Webb, I'm a new listener. Is this like a prepping channel? Just wondering. Tim, well, welcome for coming and checking us out. This is our live stream that we do once a week. We do 2 edited videos a week, and then we have our live. Mike's actually stuck at work still, so he's not here. But we do everything from how to can and how to kind of what we're doing around here too, where we're making garden rows and planting our food and raising animals and processing them and um, farming and some of it there's some prepping stuff in there for sure, and there's a little bit of everything as far as gardening, homesteading, prepping, you know canning, processing, hunting, fishing, all of that on our channel. So a little bit in building, there's building stuff too. So a little bit of all of that, if you will. Yes. But Nuggets Homestead, hello. What was that? You'll get it done. Have to remind. You don't have to remind me every 6 months. Nice. I guess I don't consider all of that prep. I mean, some of that is just like life. But I guess I don't know. I guess if you live in, LA or, something where you have a postage size stamp yard and you don't have a chicken that you can just like walk out and get your eggs. I don't know. I guess then yeah. To those people we're crazy tinfoil wearing hat people, I guess, but I don't know. Neil says it's a lot of fun to watch. Thanks, Neil. Uh, 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 uh. I prepped today. Got a tank of gas and some beer. There you go, Pettit Jean. I love it. I love it. I'm debating right now, guys, because here's my thing. So, the Muscovies I had before were not hatchery birds. They were my friend's cultivated breeding stock, and they were excellent moms. They laid a clutch. They would hatch them out. I never had to I didn't have to put any work in. These guys from the hatchery so far have not really like they're laying and there's one laying in the coop and then there's some that are laying in the one spot outside in the other little Abituvan thing that I have out there. Um, but they're not sitting. They're not like getting broody yet. So I'm kind of watching them. So I think this next week I'm gonna start letting her accumulate eggs and see if she goes broody, um, and see if she starts sitting on them. But I need to check one of them. The last couple I checked were not fertilized. So I don't know if my boys are doing their job yet. I've seen them attempt a couple of times, but I have not seen success yet. But they are young still, and this is their first season. So and it's early in the season. Like the girls just started laying. So like this is all like new territory for everybody. So I'm considering like if I get some that are like if I start seeing there's some that are fertilized, like do I crank up the incubator? But then I gotta brood them because I can't just stick them out there afterwards. That's the one downside is if you have them and they hatch them themselves, then I'm like, they're your problem now. Whereas if I hatch them out, I'm stuck with them. Unless I can slip them in, like if somebody else is broody and happens to hatch out at the same time. And then, I know. Does the diva even do YouTube anymore? He does. He does. He's going to be in Friday's video quite a bit. Well, it's almost done. I'm still finishing it. I got to add music in a few spots and zhuzh it and render it and all that, but it's mostly done. It's mostly dead. Name that movie. But he was, getting to be that time for the garden. So he's all about his garden. So he's all about it. He's all about it. All the metal in your neck keeps you informed. Oh boy. My chickens are laying like crazy. I have over 200 eggs in the fridge now with more to come tomorrow. Oh my goodness. I know. I have got to get going on my water drying, water glassing. There we go. I always want to say water glass jar canning, and I know that's not right. And I don't know why I want to make it so much longer than it is for my eggs. That's what I want to do. And I've got a few dozen now, and I'm like, I need to get me a big old glass jar, and I need to shove them in there and get her going. I already got the lime stuff. I just gotta do the deed. So gotta make it happen. Uh-oh, Auntie Anne says her laptop battery died and then she couldn't get reconnected. I'm sorry. Larry says what happened to the new cat. So unfortunately, No Way was doing really well. She had a few weeks where she was penned up obviously for a little while, get home base. I had taken her to the vet. She'd gotten her shots. She'd gotten fixed, the whole 9 yards. She had home base, and then I was letting her out on the porch with us, and then she would go back up, and we did that for a little while. And then it got to be where it was like, okay, it's been long enough now that she can go, like I can let her out. And that went on for a few weeks, and then one day she just didn't come home, and haven't heard from her since. So I like to think that she found a new home, but I know that's probably not the case, but that's what I tell myself. So yeah, she went out and never came back. So mostly done like the dozer video, except mine will actually post. You won't have to wait a year to see it. But but you'll get to see his dozer video tomorrow. Supposedly. Yeah. That's, whatever. Kemp Family Hill, are those vintage prints behind you? So the ones that look like this these are actually antique family heirlooms. And they're not prints, they're hand done, from what I understand and from what I know. They're not prints. Maybe they are prints. I don't know. Maybe they are prints. I honestly don't know. They're signed with a pencil on one of them somewhere. I remember looking closely at it. But anyway, there is supposed, I don't really know anything about them other than they're from my dad's side of the family, and that's all I know. And they're birds, and I love them. And they remind me of my dad because they're from his family. So yeah. And then these I got last year. There's a couple of these. There's like 3 of these, and then I have a buffalo one in there in the in the dining room. But there's like a few bird ones that I got at an auction last year. Like shortly after we moved, we went with our friends to an auction, and I won them in an auction. So they're like, I don't know if they're like a local artist. I have no idea. But that's what they are. So what's with that? You don't have enough people to sell or give them to? Well, it's good to store them, make quiches, and like you can make quiches and give them to people in need at your church, or, I mean, that's what I do sometimes when I'm like overwhelmed with how many eggs I've got, and I've already sold as many as I can sell and given them to my neighbors. I make a bunch of quiche. And quiche, I can freeze the quiche. They can eat off the quiche for a few days. You can make a quiche and give it to somebody. Quiche is your friend when you have too many eggs, because it takes a lot of eggs to make a quiche. So she's out there somewhere with David's cat. That's right, Neil. That's right. Bridge life. Okay, Diva test question. Is the temporary Ethernet cable still in the hallway by the stairs? 100% it is. 100% it is. Yes. Yes. Yeah. But I finally, well, not finally, I did that a while ago. I bought a throw rug to go over it to cover it because it drove me crazy. When he informed me that that was going to be the normal, I was like, what? No. Because everywhere we have lived together, he has dragged a cable across the house for entirely too long, and it's driven me crazy. But those are the types of things that don't make him crazy that make me crazy. And I'm like, can we just punch a hole in the thing and pull the cable through? Can we just do that? Yeah, but we have to take the entire roof off the house first and then reassemble all the walls, and it's like a whole thing. And I'm like, really? Like he has a whole list of things that have to be done first, and then it's not done. So and then something else happens, and we have to take care of it. So yes, there's a blue cable, but it is 99% covered by the perfect length throw rug that I installed. So oh, the Ethernet jack, that won't be until that won't happen until this wall gets knocked down, which won't be for a long time. So that's my guess, Tim. Yeah. But at this point, I'm like, I should just finish the chicken coop myself because my poor birds are just going to keep escaping. I need to finish the chicken coop desperately. Desperately need to finish the chicken coop and work on that stall that I want to build with Frankie. I think she and I are going to have to just start banging some stuff out. So I think that's what's going to have to happen. I literally swept the Ethernet cable under the rug. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yep, it's very true. Very true. I'm about ready to like just take over the shop and be like, the shop is mine. I'm taking it over. My animals are all going to be in the shop now, and you can put your plants in the chicken coop because we don't have to worry about your plants escaping. You think I'm kidding? I have half of mine too. I'd be like, I'd be like, Beulah, you're on this side, chickens, you're on that side, and go. The goats are actually fine where they are, but um, concrete slab. There's a crawl space up here, or not a crawl space. There's a not really a crawl space, but there's duct space, so it has to be run through that. So it has to go up. I know that this cable has to come up, like over that archway where that thing is across from his office. That's all I know. Gail says, when you have time, will you send me how you make your quiche? I make it differently every time I make it. Because when I make quiche, I use it as a good time to empty out my fridge. So very rarely do I set out to like make quiche because it's almost always by accident. And I'll do egg cups too, and it's basically the same. It's just when I do the egg cups, I just do them in the muffin tins basically. But you figure if for each pie tin that you're doing, you want to figure between 8 to 10 eggs. And then eyeball it. It's going to be like half a cup to a cup of milk. And then cheese to your heart's desire, like depending on what type of cheese you're using. If you're using grated cheese or if you're using like a herby cheese to it, and then whatever other, like I'll put like scallions in there, and it's try to stay away from tomatoes because those are watery. So anything that's watery you don't want to put in there. But like bell pepper or spinach, any kind of greens are great in there, and just mix it all in like you're folding it in for an omelet, and then just pour it in your pie tin. And I throw it in there. I usually cook it at like 350 for like 20 to 30 minutes, depending on if how my oven's feeling that day. Yeah. So for some Woodford Reserve double oak, I bet Mike from DD5 and I can run that Ethernet cable in and install a jack over Freedom Weekend. I bet you could. I bet we can make that happen. I bet we could definitely make that happen. I bet we could definitely make that happen. We'll have to talk about that, Tim, because I don't know. I think I don't know. I think we do have to punch a little hole in the wall, but I'm not mad about that. And I have to probably get some more cabling, but I can get that too. Yeah. JT West says, I hate that I don't live closer. I have to run wires up in walls and attics all the time. Yeah, I mean, we've done it before. We did it at our old house. We had to go up into the attic and do it. or the crawl space up there. It wasn't really an attic. Um, and this, it's got like, there's spots where there's a bit of an attic, and then there's like a crawl, there's a little bit of a crawl space over, and then it turns into just duct work. So, because then you have there's like it's like a soffit right here where the ceiling drops, and then it goes up to the staircase, because then you have the second story. So, yeah. I don't know. We'll have to talk about that, Tim. I wouldn't be mad at that idea at all. I wouldn't be mad at that idea at all. Feel free to send me all the quiche you want. I know. Well, Tim's had I made the egg cups for them when the guys went on their fishing trip. I made I don't know, I made a bunch of them and sent them up, because I was like, those are easy because you can eat them hot, you can eat them cold. They travel really well. I know it sounds weird. People, they're like, really? But they do. So it's one of those easy things that you can kind of just take with you. And it's a chunk of protein. So like when you're out like that, it's like, it's a good, good thing to kind of have. And you can, put bacon or sausage. I mean, you could get creative, put whatever you want in it. I mean, cook the meat before you put it in there, though. Don't put like raw meat in there, because that won't happen. So, but they're real easy to make. Quiches are, I mean, I'm no expert at them, but that's how I make them, and they're easy. It's pretty similar to like, like a frittata or anything like that. It's just basically, I guess it's probably more similar to a frittata than a quiche, but which they're basically the same, but I mean, there's slight differences. Hey, Dana. How's Tim doing? As long as no one has to climb on anything, they won't fall. That's right. That is true. That is true. Retribution. I let my chickens free range. I heard that having a black chicken in the yard will deter the hawks. Is this true? Yes, it is true. I have several of the black Jersey Giants in my flock, and I've always tried to keep a few black chickens for that reason. So the reason it deters the hawks is hawks and crows don't get along at all. And so, because they go after their nests, and it's like a whole thing. And so if hawks see crows, what they think are crows, when they're flying over, they'll just move on to the next thing. They're like, oh, not going to mess with that. They'll keep going. So if you've got a few, now it's not going to stop it altogether, because if they happen to be low enough, or, whatever, but it definitely helps. If you truly, truly have them out in an area where hawks and stuff are concerned like that, and you're open to like other things, I would get, and outside of dogs, if you're just talking birds, I would make sure you have like one hard-hitting rooster and like a big boy, like, not like a silky rooster, but like a big hard-hitting rooster that can like do the job, because they'll kill a hawk. Like a big bad rooster, if a hawk, like they'll go after it. And or like a goose, and get yourself a couple geese, and because they will protect, and deter. They're really good little watchdogs, so to speak, for your flock as well. So, but yes, that is 100% true. Oh, where am I sending firecrackers, Carrie? What did I miss? Gotta love how Tim volunteered Mike. LOL, no work life. Well, he's got that bum leg now, Yeah, I'm pretty sure ours is on a slab and the crawl space is on the top, which I think that's how our last one was too. But our house before that, we had a crawl space. Oh, I bet David and Gary could finish the brooder too for some firecrackers. I know. I might tell y'all to get here like 2 days early and give y'all like honeydew lists, and just like feed you and like give you booze, and be like, here's what we're doing, guys. Take advantage of you guys actually being in the same state for a while. I'm telling you. Oh yeah, it's time to go. Man, I got caught up on things here. Woo! I know I missed it. I missed it. Well, thank you guys. I'm sorry the diva didn't get to come make an appearance, but he's been busy. So I know I'll tell him all that you send him his love, and make sure you go over to SLR and tell. Make sure you tell Gary that Tim is offering his services to to help me finish the chicken coop and brooder so my birds quit escaping. I hope you all have a really, really fabulous night. Go send Mel and Gary some loves and hugs. Tell them not to, I don't know if they're heading over to Mama V's tomorrow, but tell them not to work too hard if they are. And I love you all and have a great night. Safety's off.